again, or Mickey as some others remember by. Big shout out to Waiting Ed, of course. Just to holler at a couple of people, and I'll be shouting out to people through every video. Through Elizabeth and Iris and Mark and Amira. So there's 4 people I want to point out today. Today we're going to do a little different video about my son Michael when he was just a toddler, and he was quite a character. He'll be 40 in October, so he may not appreciate some of this stuff. If you tuned in, hopefully, to my last vlog, it had quite an emotional tone to it, and of course this one will too, but on a happier note. And hope you'll enjoy it. The overall theme of the vlog today will be "My Baby Boy You'll Always Be," and which I'll share a poem that I wrote about something he did. I'll do that at the very end. So I hope you enjoy some of these stories. I'm going to tell like 4 or 5 stories of when he was little. First one I want to tell about is, and I was jumping age back and forth. It's kind of hard to remember exact age. When he was still on the bottle, and when I was still drinking beer back then in the day, been almost 34 years sober, so that'll be on a different vlog. But one night we were having a party, him and his mother and I, Donna, and we had probably, I don't know, 8 or 9 people over, and so I got up, and we were even into keeping beer cans and beer bottles and things of that nature back then, and so we kept those separate. So I went back to throw my beer bottle in the recycling bin, so to speak, and we're talking about like 1983. He followed me everywhere. So he was sitting next to me on the couch a little bit before his bedtime, and he was drinking in his bottle, sitting kicked back, and every time I'd drink out of my bottle, he'd put his bottle in his mouth. Anyway, when I got up to throw it away, he was right behind me, jumped down off the couch, and he was right behind me, and the bin that held the bottle was full. So I said, well, make an exception. One bottle in the trash can is not going to make that much difference. So when I threw it in the trash can, he looked at me, he took his bottle out of his mouth, and he threw his bottle in the trash can. I said, what are you doing? He said, throw away. And you know, he never, you know how hard it is to break some kids from their bottle or pacifier or whatever. He never asked for a bottle again. He was that quick to break from using a bottle again. So too bad I didn't have the same issue with beer at that time, but I didn't. So another breakage of his was every time one went to the bathroom, he had to be in the bathroom. So he had his little potty there beside the toilet, and I was going to the bathroom, and he was sitting there, and he looked up at me, and I looked down at him. I'm like, don't watch me. Just pay attention to what you're doing. Just try to go to the bathroom. Now, he had never been number 2 in the toilet. He'd been number 1 many, many times. He'd never been number 2. So I said, okay, I'm done. I'm going out for a while. You hang out in here, and when you get finished, come get me and let me know what happened. So it was probably 5 minutes later. He came running into the kitchen where I was, and had nothing on at all. He came running out, and he acted like he had just won the lottery. He said, I pooped! And we were like, yay, you know, big deal. It was a great big deal, all this celebration. And so let me go clean you up. He said, I clean. I said, trust me, I bet you didn't clean as well as I can clean. But anyway, every time he pooped after that, for quite a while, it was a celebration. And he was that easy to potty train. So I think it's a sign of his intelligence even shows up today. Not if your child doesn't break that easily. I'm not saying your child isn't intelligent. I'm just saying that he just had that drive in him, as he does as a man today, as he did back then. All right, Story number 3. Now this isn't to criticize anyone for their weight or size or anything, but used to, if you remember, if you're young enough, you could go to the Raleigh-Durham airport and you could sit there at the fence with your car or stand, whatever, and watch the planes take off and land. We loved doing it. It was just something to watch, and big different sizes, and how long it took, and the sound and everything. He loved it. So he was still little, about the same age. So we were sitting in the back of the station wagon watching him coming in back and forth. Now the first time, this isn't part of the story, but the first time when one of those jets landed, months before this particular story, he wet his pants because it was when they reversed the engine, it was so loud. So this time he was prepared for all that. But anyway, we were sitting there, he was sitting beside me, and there was this man at the fence, a bunch of people standing at the fence, but this one particular man at the fence. He was probably my height, about 5'8", 8.5", and but he weighed about 500 pounds. So he was a big fella. And he tugged on my shirt a little bit. I said, "What is it?" He said, and he wasn't quiet about anything. He said, "Dad, that man's fat." I said, "Shh." I didn't say anything. And I saw the man's body kind of tighten up a little bit, and his ears kind of perked up a little bit. I said, "Shh, don't say things like that." He said, "Well, he is fat, Daddy." I said, "Shh, quiet. He'll hear you over there. He's not that far away. Don't be rude. You don't say things like that about people." He said, "You can't help it." I said, "Well, help it. Just try to help it." He said, so he waited about, 3 or 4 minutes later, and he said, "Daddy." I said, "Yeah, what is it?" He said, "He's still fat, Daddy."
Oh,
I said, "Just, please, son, don't embarrass us. If you say it again, we're going to leave." And I could see that man's sides shaking up and down. He was not offended. He was getting a big kick out of it. And he finally turned around and came over there. And Michael got over there behind me because he was a pretty big fella. He was kind of scared. And he said, "Hello, little man." He said, "Yes, I'm big. I'm fat. I know." He said, "So your daddy's right. We don't usually say things about people. We can think it, but that makes it any more right. But we don't say that. We just don't say things about people, about their size, or if they're deformed, or have something wrong with them, or sick, or something like that. We just look and we just continue going on with what we're doing." He said, "You understand?" I said, "Yes, sir." So the man went back over there to the fence, was watching the planes like the rest of us, and Michael sat down beside me, and he said, about 5 minutes went by. It was really quiet. And I said, "You okay?" He said, "Yeah, okay." No planes came in and out, and it was about 5 minutes later, he said, "Daddy." I said, "Yeah." "You having fun?" He said, "Yeah." "But that man sure is fat." And I said, "We're done. We're done." I said, "I'm sorry, sir." We packed up and we left for the day. So that was what kind of character he was. You know, they say, out of the mouth of babes. I was just horrified. I didn't punish him for it, but we did have another discussion later about it. There's one thing in particular that he was really big on, another story, and that was that particular time we still with VCRs and VHS tapes and what have you. And he loved the TV show, if you're young enough. If not, you can Google it. It was a show called The Fall Guy. It was Lee Majors. He was in Hollywood, and in that show he was portraying being a stunt man. So at the beginning of the show and the end, they had this promo kind of trailer at the beginning. It showed him doing stunts and jumping with a Ford pickup truck, and so he wanted me to record it, so I recorded it on the tape. But every morning and every night, every morning before I went to work, he had to watch that 2.5 minute tape.
to kiss and tell, but I've been seen with fire up. I've never been with anything less than a 9. So fine, I've been on fire with Sally Field, gone past with a girl named Bo, but somehow they just don't end up as mine. It's a death-defying life I lead. I'd take my chances. I'd die for living in the movies and TV. But the hardest thing I ever do is watch my leading ladies kiss some other guy while I'm bandaging my knee. I might fall from a tall building, I might roll a brand new car, 'cause I'm the unknown stuntman that made Redford such a star. I've never spent much time in school, but I taught ladies plenty. It's true, I hire my body out for pay. Hey, hey, I've gotten burned over Cheryl Teague's, blown up for Raquel Welch, but when I wind up in the hay, it's only hay. Hey, hey, I might jump an open drawbridge or Tarzan from a vine, 'cause I'm the unknown stuntman that makes Eastwood look so fine.
And he'd come running out. First thing he'd do in the morning when he'd come running out, fall guy, and you had to watch it. If it couldn't play or didn't have time, he would have a fit. Same thing in the evening before he went to bed. So one morning, I got up, I was sitting there drinking my coffee. He came running out there, fall guy, stuntman. So I hit the remote, started up the VCR, and it wouldn't do anything. It would come on, but it wouldn't play. So I ejected it, pushed it back in, still wouldn't play. And he was crying when I told him. He said, I can't put the phone down. So I'm like, I don't have time for this right now. I've got to go to work. And he was just like, fix it. I said, I can't. I'm not an electronics mechanic. I can't fix it. He said, fix it. So he was adamant for me to fix it. I said, when I get home this evening, I'll try to fix it. So he runs off, disappears about 2 or 3 minutes, comes back with a Phillips screwdriver. Says, fix it. So there I am, going to be late for work, taking the VCR apart. Couldn't fix it. I can still hear him squalling right now as I was leaving, because he couldn't watch Fall Guy before I went to work. So while I was out, I stopped at the pawn shop and got this, the cheapest VCR that I could find, brought it home so he could watch it. Actually, that VCR lasted about 10 years, believe it or not. So anyway, I hope you're enjoying these stories. I got a couple more I want to tell you. Going back in time just a little bit, as some parents do, as we do, we made the big mistake and bad habit of letting him sleep in the bed with us. Don't do it, for various reasons. Don't do it. So, I'll never forget the first night we spent in his crib alone. So when I put him in there, I said, this is just going to be, this is your bed right now. And when you get a little older, I'll get you a bigger bed. But you can't, you're too old to sleep with us anymore. You're too big. You kick and you punch and everything else during the night. This is where you're supposed to be. This is your bed. Okay? Okay, Dad. So I went and picked him up and put him in the crib, and he laid there and had a little smile on his face. And he had this little blanket that was made out of silk. And he had to have that silk blanket with him all the time. If he didn't have it in there, he'd like, silk, silk, he'd freak out. So he flipped over, he said, scratch my back. So he had to have the silk, have his back scratched every night. So if you're going to spoil a child, that's the best way to spoil it. Not buy money for gifts. Time. Spend time with your children. So you go through that ritual, and he's smiling, a little smile on his face, and said, you like your bed? I like it. Let that go. So I thought he was asleep. Wrong. So when I went out into the back in the living room, had the TV down real low so he could go to sleep. And I hear just sound like somebody tearing the room apart in there. So we go running in there thinking he's like falling or something. And he's standing up there, you know how the crib has slats and bars that look like in it. He's standing up in his crib and he's shaking this thing like a prisoner in prison. Ow, ow, ow. And he's screaming, ow. I said, no. You're not, this isn't a punishment. This is sleep. This is where you sleep. This is your bed. This is where you're going to sleep. So get used to it. This is your first night. I'll stay in here with you for about 5 minutes or so, and I'll rub your back again, and you go to sleep in the bed. Okay, Daddy. So he lays back down, got his silk, rubbing his face with it. I'm rubbing his back, scratching his back, and I see him take a really deep breath, and it looks like he's sound asleep. Cool. So I go back out into the living room again, and I sit down, and I look at my watch, and it's been about 10 minutes or so. Doing good. By the time I thought that one thought, there he goes again. I go back in there again, it looks like a prisoner trying to break out of jail, shaking those bars. So, mistake number one, picked him up. I picked him up, I was holding him, I said, look, well, you got to understand, this is your bed. So he said, okay, Daddy. I heard that before. Laid him back down in there, rubbed his back again, and he went to sleep. Well, went to bed, everything's good, went to bed. In about 3 hours, probably about, 2 o'clock in the morning, something like that. He's screaming at the top of his lungs. Thank goodness for the neighbors that sound sleepers. Screaming at the top of his lungs, just shaking those bars like that. So, mistake number 2, picked him up and put him back in the bed with us. So, don't do that. It took me 3 nights to finally get him used to that bed and acclimated to where he was supposed to be. It's no different than if you take puppies away from a mother, that they freak. They scream, they holler, they bark, they howl. So don't let your child sleep with you. Anyway, it's a good memory, it's a funny memory. It wasn't funny to him at the time, but it's funny now. All right. The next one, the last one I'm going to tell you before reading the poem is, start off with, we're going to have pictures and stuff in this throughout. And there's a picture of him holding a plastic pistol to my head. Well, I've seen that pictures, those pictures, that picture, 100 times at least in my life. And his mother, has been divorced forever. God rest her soul. But she sent me those pictures one day on my phone, and I was looking at it, you know how you can zoom in a little bit, and I'm saying, I never noticed he's holding a pistol, a plastic pistol, to the side of my head and smiling about it. So you'll see the picture. Anyway, the next one, his mother Donna and I were having another party, and there was, I guess there was like 12 people there, 6 couples, plus us, so 14 people there. And I didn't know some of these people. There was some people, half of them were some that his mother knew, and I didn't know these people. First time I'd ever even seen them. But we had a cookout, and we were having a really good time and joy. So here again, I had to go to the bathroom, another bathroom store. had to go to the bathroom, so I get up and go take care of my business. And of course, Mini Me is hung out at my hip, and so he follows me in there. So while I'm going number one, he's going number one in the floor. I'm thinking, well, normal. So we wash our hands and come back out and sit down on the couch, and there's this man's wife is sitting right beside me. He's sitting there next to me. He gets up and gets in between my feet right there. And this woman, the first time I ever met her in my life. First time. And he looks at her and he says, "Ma'am?" He said, "Oh yeah." "Yes, what is it?" He said, "My daddy's got a big penis. I got a little one." What do you say? What do you say? So that was embarrassing enough, but then when I'd get up and go to move around the room or go to the kitchen, whatever, all the women would look at my crotch. I guess I could have left that part out, but it was part of the story. And thanks, Michael. That was so funny. Of course, everybody in there burst out laughing. And I said, "Don't you say that again." I could see he wanted to say it again to get a second laugh. I said, "Do not say that again." So let me pull up this poem, and this is the last story about him. I've got a bunch, but this is the last one I'm going to tell right now. And let me just say, on a not so happy note, him and his mother and I rather, we just didn't get along. And so we separated. He was fairly young, between 3 and 4 years old. So I missed a lot of things and a lot of time with him. So that's why I really look at these stories, remember these stories as happy times. And when he's watching this, I hope he'll do the same thing. You know, that's water under the bridge, pain we don't need to rehash, and we move forward, and we're men, we're adults. So there's more love now there than there was then, if you can imagine so. Anyway, this particular story is about something he did. It's about the same, about 3 years old. So the title is My Baby Boy You'll Always Be, and that's true for any child. This your firstborn. He's the only child. It's your baby. Anyway, got up early, looked outside, saw that it had snowed overnight, about a foot of it around. Great white flakes were coming down. Went out and tried to move the car. No success. Went back inside. Climbed back into bed, still warm. There you were conceived, your daughter. Didn't know it at the time. Growing there, you were inside. Your mom, 50 pounds did gain. Let me say, she was about 5'3" and probably about 105 pounds, so she was 160. 2 gallons of white milk she drank each day. Didn't know what you would be till that day of delivery. Wishing for a boy, no doubt. Sure enough, and you popped out. I was there for the whole thing. Nothing wrong with your lungs, was thinking. I was first to hold you close. Tears I shed fell on your face. Happiest I've ever been. Nothing can compare, my son. Nurses grabbed you up to weigh. I grabbed back for you to stay. They said that it must be done. I could hold you later on. You were screaming loud as hell. First time your lungs had felt air. A day or two you had to stay. You turned yellow, head to toe. Brought you home to our little green house, back behind the Lewis house. We lived in this house back in a horse pasture up in Franklin County, North Carolina. Tried to get your mom to nurse you. She said it hurt too bad. You were a clamper. Had quite the appetite. I got up the next 2 weeks at night, mixed up formula every 4 hours, I think. Seemed sooner than that. Seemed like your stomach had its own alarm clock. Without fail, you woke me up, and she just was not feeling herself, very depressed, and couldn't nurse her. So I had a woman come in to take care of you during the day while I went to work. come help during the day. That did not go well, I'd say. Come to find out, she was very lazy. She let you suck on an empty bottle, I found out. Had the colic for 2 days, I guess. Cried and cried, no matter what, I ate about. I rocked, I sang, I read you books. Finally, on night number 2, you took a bottle and I slept with you. Didn't have Merlin drops back then to relieve colic. Nuzzled in my arms, what a wonderful feeling I'll never forget. I swear you had a smile on your face. Soon after, we moved up on Dunn Road, another place in Wake County, North Carolina. A small house, but pretty nice, bigger than one we lived in before. You were quite the funny guy, kept me laughing day and night. One day, coming running past me to the door, had your finger next to your nose like this. You kept yelling out the screen, "Shah! Shah!" You kept saying. I said, "Stop that! What are you doing?" You run back into the house and disappear. "Here you come again," I saw. "Shah! Shah!" you kept saying. Finger on your nose on the left side. He's left-handed. I asked you, "What were you doing? Stop that! You're getting on my nerves." Wasn't 15 minutes later, Prince, our dog, German Shepherd, started barking. I jumped up and looked outside. I placed my finger to my mouth and "Shut up! Shut up!" I yelled once or twice. Then it hit me what you had done. I looked down and there you were. "Shah! Shah!" you yelled with pride. I was overcome inside. I hoisted you into my arms. Then and there I realized a little me you were becoming. Many things I missed in your life that you accomplished over time. None your fault, I hope you see. Me and your mom just could not be. Every night I prayed you safe. You and I cried many tears. We never know what life will bring. But somehow, someday, I hope you will totally forgive me. I have made a lot of mistakes, but my love for you, it grows each day. Turn into a man so quick to me. Now you've just turned 23. So that's how long ago I wrote this. For the 23rd birthday, actually. I talk about you every day, and every day for you I pray. You've helped me in so many ways, knowing you're there, it comforts me. It comforts me. Hoping when I turn old and gray, which I am, you'll be there to help take care of me. Even years we were apart, you have never left my heart. I love you, son, forever true. I am always here for you. Anytime, both day and night, I'll be here to hold you tight. Matters not how old you get. Trust me, you are to me, my baby boy, you'll always be. And I wrote that on October 27th, 2003. So I hope everybody's enjoyed these silly stories, and I hope everybody's watched to the end. And Michael, if you're watching this, I hope you enjoyed them. This particular vlog I've been wanting to do, and for you and for everybody that knows how difficult and how funny kids can be, raising or whatever, just being around them, anybody's kids. So, all right, I have a lot more life stories to tell along the way, be another vlog, and please subscribe and like, and so I'll continue to make these for you. All right. Shout out to Wake Med people in Raleigh, North Carolina. Love you. Peace.